My God, guys, I just watched the full on 3 hours of this pay per view of Impact Slammiversary 2019 event. Holy fuck, was this a great pay per view! I don't know if it was better than last year's Slammiversary, but it was pretty darn close or a little bit better than Slammiversary of 2018. This was fucking unreal event. I am super impressed what these guys and women did last night. And the only thing I do have a little bit of gripes on is that Sami Callihan won his match against Tessa Blanchard in the main event. Now, my issue with that is if you're going to make that the main event over the world title, which, by the way, was a fucking awesome matchup as well and should have been the main event, in my personal opinion, because of how the end result of this match went. Despite the end result of Sami Callihan beating Tessa Blanchard in this intergender matchup, it was still a fucking unbelievable match and well worth the time spent watching it. I mean, it was entertaining as hell. I was shocked on how Tessa Blanchard took such an unbelievable beating. This woman gave you her heart and her soul to this matchup. She really took a lot of pain in this match. She earned her dues and definitely proved that women are as good as men in professional wrestling. And last night, they definitely proved that. And even the Fatal 4-Way match for the Women's Knockout Championship was a really entertaining matchup as well. So let's go into some of the matches. I'll go ahead and tell you guys some of the things I remember in the each and every matchup. I don't know if I'm going to be able to touch everything that I remember. I don't know if I remember every little thing, but let's start off with the opener of this event. It was actually a impromptu fatal 4-way between X Division wrestlers TJP, Willie Mack, Jay Chris, and also and Trey. Those were the four guys in this fatal 4-way opener. They did something like this similar last year where Johnny Impact actually won and got some momentum started coming back from injury. But this was just a regular impromptu matchup which Willie Mack won. The match itself was a very good opener. It was well put together. The action was back and forth. It flowed pretty well. And I thought that this was a solid opener. Definitely a 3 out of 5 stars matchup. The things that happened in the match I don't quite remember. I'd have to have the computer to see the results and everything and the actual information on it and give you guys my opinion on that. But I didn't feel like whipping out the computer today simply because all I keep doing is looking at the computer, reading off the information, and not looking in the camera, which I didn't particularly like. I've looked at some of my videos and didn't like how it was going. So I'm just going to try to go based off of actual memory. But I do remember how the crowd reacted to this matchup. It was a pretty solid opener, very entertaining. Would I go back and watch it again? Probably not. It's not worth something to watch over again. But it was definitely a good opener for the first time ever watching it type of thing. The next match after that was... oh boy. Oh yeah, the tag team title match for... in a triple threat match with the North of Josh Alexander and Ethan Page versus Wince and Dez from the Rascals and Sonata or Santana. Excuse me, Santana, not Sonata. Santana and Ortiz from LAX all competed for the Impact tag team titles. This matchup was actually probably the worst one of them all, and the shortest, by the way. I think I looked on Wikipedia just to get a memory of, just to remember what the order of these matches were. And this match actually showed on Wikipedia as 7 minutes and 37 seconds, which is the shortest match out of everything. The reason why I think this match kind of sucked and was the worst out of the bunch was because Santana actually sustained a knee injury during this matchup, which cut the match kind of short, I think, and really didn't make this match entertaining, noteworthy. I give it a 2.5 out of 5 stars. The North actually cheated to win. Ethan Page grabbed the title and hit, I think it was Trey in the face, or not Trey. I think it was Desmond Alexander, and he hit him in the face with the belt, and then got the 1-2-3 and picked up the victory, and that was it. So this matchup to me is a 2.5 out of 5 stars. This is probably the lowest rating you're going to hear me say on this entire card. The rest of the card from there was very solid or above solid. So from there we had Killer Cross versus Eddie Edwards in a first blood ever match. Or a first blood match. Not a first blood ever match. But just a first blood match. This matchup was a pretty solid, okay matchup. I actually like the rivalry that was built up around the kendo stick and how it's altered Eddie Edwards' character. He was more of a wrestling-based type wrestler, and now he's a hardcore swinging kendo stick wrestler. So I did like and enjoy that transformation they created with Eddie Edwards, while at the same time kind of making him look like a complete fucking idiot. And I didn't particularly like that part of him, but I do like the transformation of a hardcore wrestling ECW type lookalike gimmick. He does play the role very well. And what he did in this matchup to win, I think, was a little bit weak. But the in-ring action and how stiff these guys were in this matchup was performed very well by both performers in this matchup. I give it a 3 out of 5 stars simply because of the fact the ending of the match was a little... I didn't particularly think it was the best first blood match they could have possibly given us. What happened at the end of this matchup is Eddie Edwards breaks the kendo stick over his knee, apologizes to it before he does it, to the kendo stick, as if it was another human being, breaks it in half, and then shoves it into Killer Cross's mouth, when really it would have been better if he would have stuck it right across his skull and cut his fucking head wide open, making him bleed Crimson Mask. I think that would have been a lot better and a more believable ending to this matchup, but granted, he was bleeding pretty badly by the mouth, and he was dripping blood all over the inside of the ring. So, I mean, nothing against the ending, but I thought they should have done the forehead, not the mouth. That's just me. But yeah, a pretty solid, okay matchup. Moose then had a matchup with RVD. This was just a rivalry that was built on frustration by Moose of ECW originals coming into Impact Wrestling, taking over the spotlight of him and other performers, mostly just him because he's a self-centered prick. And he had a really good matchup with Rob Van Dam. Rob Van Dam still to this day is good, but not as good as what he used to be. And I think that has a lot to do with the weight that he put on over the years. He's kind of hefty a little bit. I mean, he's not like totally disgusting to look at, but he's not exactly in shape. He used to be a lot more skinnier, a little bit more in shape in the middle part of his section. His arms are pretty, he's got some definition in his arms, but I mean, he's not exactly looks like how he used to when he was in his prime. And I honestly think he needs to go back to looking like that before he starts performing again. But his matchup with Moose was a good match nonetheless. I enjoyed it. 3.5 out of 5 stars. Very entertaining matchup overall. Then we have the Impact Women's Championship match, or Knockouts Championship match, with Taya Valkyrie, the champion, going in, facing Rosemary, Jessica Havoc, and Su Yung. This matchup was hardcore at the max. This was a Fatal 4-Way Monsters Ball match. And boy, oh boy, did these women bring it. They were fucking bringing it up to the max, man. This women's revolution, if you want to say there's a women's revolution, you can say it's Impact Wrestling. They are bringing it to the max in Impact Wrestling for the women's division. I am very impressed with how they're doing things in Impact Wrestling with these women. Are they the greatest wrestlers in the world? No. But they bring a lot of effort. They give these women airtime to provide their performances in the ring. They give them a way of telling a story. And Taya Valkyrie, her story is she's an opportunist. She came in at the right time, hit Jessica Havoc in the skull after Jessica Havoc hit Su Yung with a tombstone pile driver from the top rope through fucking thumbtacks. She was freaking busted. I don't know if her head actually hit the thumbtacks, but I know for a fact that Jessica Havoc's knees hit the thumbtacks, most definitely. And then she took a chair shot to the skull by Taya Valkyrie, and then Taya Valkyrie, being the opportunist that she is, comes into the ring, gets the pinfall on Su Yung, and gets the 1-2-3, walking out still the Impact Knockouts champion. Awesome fucking match. Loved it. 4 out of 5 stars. Entertaining as hell. It was only 10 plus minutes. It was about 11 minutes and 35 seconds to be exact, based off of Wikipedia's information. And it was well worth all the time they were given. And it's a lot more than any women's wrestlers get in fucking WWE. I mean, these women went all out crazy and were hardcore to the max. From there, we had the X Division Championship with Rich Swann versus Johnny Impact. Rich Swann being the current champion going in, and he was the champion going out. I don't believe not one title changed hands at this event last night. Rich Swann retained his title, and at first this match seemed a little bit of a fun, entertaining, goofy matchup that wasn't horrible or anything, but it wasn't meant to be taken seriously the way it was looking at first. But then as time went on and it progressed, it really started building momentum and building a lot of intense action that went on throughout this matchup near the end. And Rich Swann hit a fucking a cutter. It was like what Will Ospreay does. He does a Ospreay cutter. Basically does he bounces off the ropes and then turns around, jumps up, hits like a diamond cutter type of thing, and that's what Rich Swann performed. And then I think it's not a 630, not like Ricochet, but more like a 450 splash, and got the 1-2-3 and picked up the victory on Johnny Impact. Johnny Impact was outstanding in this matchup as well. As always, he's always a great performer. His gimmick has gotten a little stale to me, I think, with this Eddie Bravo thing, or Johnny Bravo, I should say, being there with him the entire time and throughout the match, making some kind of interferences, which later on he gets hit with a spot where Rich Swann does a flying maneuver outside the ring onto the floor, and he's taken out of the picture, and that's how the match pretty much ends, with him hitting his 2 finishers in this matchup. So bottom line is, this matchup here was really well done. I give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Excellent match. And definitely no complaints from me coming out of my mouth. From there, we had the World Heavyweight Championship. Brian Cage defending against Michael Elgin. This matchup was the fucking show stealer of the night. Outside of Tessa Blanchard and Sami Callihan, that's the only thing that rivals this match. And these three juggernaut, or not three, these two juggernauts went all out on each other. They went balls to the wall, all out, hitting each other with stiff shots to the face, doing freaking power bombs and power moves to each other, and beating the holy hell out. What a great world championship matchup that I only wish would have been the main event, because this matchup was well worth the time that it had. I mean, at the end of this match with Brian Cage getting a freaking finish, which was unexpected to me. He got a schoolboy pin because his back was all fucked up and he couldn't do his finishing maneuver. He goes ahead and does a old school type move with a schoolboy pin and gets the 1, 2, 3 to prevent Michael Elgin from kicking out, and he walks away still the champion. Michael Elgin takes advantage of Brian Cage's back situation, still beats him up because he was mad about losing the matchup itself, and then takes the title and says, I'm the champ, I'm taking this with me, and grabs Don Callis by ringside where he's doing announcing, pulls him in the ring, and is about to do his Mike Powerbomb, I think is what he calls it, or Elgin Powerbomb. And then out of nowhere, a masked person who spears Michael Elgin. Who could this mystery man be? Well, I know who it was, because the way he was going ahead and doing this and then doing that was fucking Rhino. Rhino is back in Impact Wrestling, I believe, or that was just a one-time thing. I think that would have been a great way to end the show, with Rhino attacking Michael Elgin and, Don Callis kind of being a little bit confused and not understanding what the fuck just happened here. And then building on having a hanger to pull you in for Impact Wrestling to find out who it might have been. Of course, they kind of made it seem a little too easy to figure out, and making Rhino do that thing that he does when he taunts his opponents and stuff after he hits a gore. It made it look too easy to identify who he was. But I mean, granted, it was a very nice nice spot they put Rhino in. That leads Rhino into a great matchup with a big name star who's developed into a pretty much a career killer, if you want to say what Michael Elgin is in Impact Wrestling. But he did a great job in this situation. He hit him really good with a gore and ran away into the audience, and that was it. This matchup, I'm giving it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was definitely a great job by two big juggernaut guys who are muscle-bound freaks who put on a great matchup that you normally don't see from big guys like them. The last match, like I said, Tessa Blanchard versus Sami Callihan. I gotta give Sami Callihan credit. They made Sami Callihan look like a fucking unbelievable guy. I mean, they made him sell us Tessa Blanchard is a tough son of a bitch. He made her look really good in this matchup. She took a fucking beating and a half, earned her dues, and definitely showed that women's wrestling is here to stay. She put on a fucking awesome matchup. And I'll tell you what, I don't think even Charlotte Flair herself can put on a match with a guy like fucking Sami Callihan. I'm dead serious. I don't think she could go into a matchup with a guy like fucking any hardcore wrestling type guy that will brutally kick your ass. Okay? You can't use Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is way too fucking big. He's bigger than Sami Callihan, so you can't say that. But let's just say she was to have a match with Kevin Owens, and they made Kevin Owens the old Kevin Owens when he wrestled in Ring of Honor, where he was a hardcore ass kicker. I don't think she could hang with a guy like Kevin Owens from back in his days in Ring of Honor. Straight up. Sami Callihan put her through the ringer right at the get-go. Went ahead and pretty much not like power lifted her, but he kind of did a dreamer driver type of thing, and just kind of put her on his shoulders and tossed her off his shoulders onto the fucking hard floor on the outside of the ring. She was screaming in agony and pain. She was crying. None of this shit seemed like it was being sold. It was for real. She was in severe, horrific pain that she could not deal with, and she just kept pushing herself more and more through this matchup and just kept going and going as long as she possibly could. She did get some really great shots in. She put on a performance and a half with a guy that was probably double the size she is, not in height but in weight and bulkiness. She was fucking unbelievable. I give her tons of fucking props. She is I'm going on record to say Tessa Blanchard is the best woman's performer in pro wrestling today. There ain't any woman professional wrestler I think is better than Tessa Blanchard. And you can't put Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey in that same category with her because of the fact they are former MMA stars. They know what it's like to be in an actual combat sport. I'm talking about technician wrestling performed by a woman. She does it better than anybody else. That's why I believe she was placed in this situation with Sami Callihan. And I gotta tell you guys, these two people fucking kicked the shit out of each other. Tessa Blanchard was bleeding slightly from the nose. Sami Callihan took a metal baseball bat straight to the fucking gut while wearing a bulletproof vest, which I think protected him from having broken ribs. But at the end of the day, he got hit pretty hard in the gut with that damn baseball bat. And it wasn't one of those things where you see where Triple H takes it and hits you in the fucking head with his hand covering the metal part of the sledgehammer. Oh no. She takes the baseball bat and swings it like she's swinging for the fences, trying to hit a baseball out of the baseball park. Bottom line, if you guys didn't see that match at least, anything else, I mean, the world title match I would definitely recommend, but if you're not interested in two muscular guys going at it in a world title matchup, this matchup I would recommend just to see what this woman endured during this match, because it was not fucking normal. This woman literally looked like she was being tortured to death. She was put in an STF. She was slammed outside the ring multiple times. I mean, this woman took a fucking beating and kept coming back and asking for more, basically. Sami Callihan kept taking shots from her. He was pretty roughed up, and they both used baseball bats on each other when the referees were knocked out. That's about the only cheating that occurred during this match. Now, the only thing about this ending that I didn't like was it was sudden and it was really kind of stupid. He puts her in a package pile driver. She kicks out of it. She manages to get back up. She does the OVE thumbs up, thumbs down deal. And then she gets pile drived again by Sami Callihan and then loses. Now, I did see before I did this video information on why she lost to Sami Callihan. I did not take a look at that yet, but I may give you guys a video on some news and rumors of what happened for that specific match, why that happened, and also a couple other things that's going on, such as like WWE. I forgot to do a video. I've been doing so many videos for you guys this week, at least for this weekend, between Impact Wrestling and New Japan Wrestling, that I forgot to do random wrestling talk and talk about the PG era being over in WWE, my thoughts and opinions on Eric Bischoff and Paul Heyman being creative writers for both Raw and SmackDown, and then I'd also give you guys my opinion on what happened to why Tessa Blanchard lost to Sami Callihan. I'm going to go ahead and provide you guys that video at least sometime this week and provide that to you before this week is up. This matchup, I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5 stars anyway, despite the fact that I didn't like the ending of how they did it. But the way they just made Tessa Blanchard look like a fucking beast. Sami Callihan showing a bit of class at the end, providing her bat that she brought to the ring, and in his own way of saying, congratulations, you've earned my respect type of thing. I thought that was pretty cool at the end. No bullshit beating her up even more after she's already took a beating, and so forth. So I was very happy with that ending, but the ending to the match specifically, I didn't particularly think was the best ending. It seemed a little kind of stale, or not really the. It was an anticlimactic ending for that situation. I think maybe they should have just went with Tessa Blanchard and said, fuck it, let's go with Tessa Blanchard and have her win. She almost made Sami Callihan tap out in a crossface, which I thought would have been fucking great. I was saying to myself, please make him tap out. Make him tap out. And he just managed to get to the ropes. And that was basically it. So yes, once again, 4.5 out of 5 stars for this matchup itself. And that's pretty much it, guys. I mean, that's overall what I felt about this pay-per-view. If you guys did see the pay-per-view, leave your comment and opinion down below. I'll get back to you on that. If you haven't and you're interested in it, but you never got a chance to see it, go look, just search online, watch wrestling, and you'll find a website that actually has it available to watch it and stream it online. But anyway, guys, hit the like button if you liked the video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And I thank you very much for watching, and have a great night, guys. Bye.